Hello, good afternoon. My name is Randolph Vernon King M. Payosal, Bsit 2A-BA from San Mateo, Isabela. This is my prelim activity, and my subject teacher is Sir Jess Lindo. So my topics is all about food production, emerging technologies in food production. So ano nga bang emerging technologies? So emerging technologies is, while there is no universal definition of emerging technology, businessdictionary.com defines the concept as a new technology that is currently being developed or will be developed within the next 5 to 10 years. Finally, this term applies to technology that are currently creating or will creating lasting economic social effects. So, ang emerging technologies ay ang mga bagay na nakikreate natin na nakakatulong sa mapadali ang human activity or mga trabaho ng tao. So emerging technologies cover a broad range of different technologies, from those that are brand new through to those that are in commercial use but not widely established in industry. So high pressure processing is an example of a technology that's still called emerging, even though it has become much more widely established over recent years. So here are condemned BRI. So we explore a range of different technologies with companies such as high pressure processing, power ultrasound, cold atmospheric plasma, and ultraviolet light technologies. So emerging technologies can offer a step change compared to thermal processing methods by offering an alternative means for ensuring food product safety, whilst allowing better quality preservation of food products. But the benefits of these technologies are the ability to preserve functionality of certain foods components and develop new textures. So emerging technologies includes a variety of technologies such as educational technologies, information technology, nanotechnology, biotechnology, cognitive science, robotics, and artificial intelligence. So, what is food? So, food is any substance consumed to provide support for an organism. So, food is usually plant, animals, or fungal origin and contains essential nutrients such as carbohydrates, fats, proteins, vitamins, and minerals. So, food, ito yung mga kinakain natin araw-araw para ginagamit ng ating katawan para tumakas at magkaroon ng sigla sa araw-araw. So, production. So, production is the process of making, harvesting, or creating something or the amount of something that was made or harvested. So, production, ito yung pag-produce ng product. Ito yung mga product na hina-harvest natin at ginagawa natin hina-harvest from sa lupa, galing sa lupa, at ginagawa itong product. So, when did food production start? So, ito yung konting history about food production. So, in the fertile crescent of the Middle East, about 10 or 11,000 years BCE or before the Christ era, the region was home to a variety edible and easily cultivated crops. So, wheat and barley among the cereal crops, and lentils, peas, and chickpeas among the vegetable. Also, the region was endowed with goats, sheep, pigs, and cattle, all which were domesticated and became important sources of food. So cattle are also useful work animals, and all these animals produce manure for fertilizer. So yung tae niya is nagagamit na pang fertilize sa mga lupa. So Thus, a complete agriculture package was available and helped give rise to cultivation in the Middle East. So, the need for common facilities to thresh and store grain was major impetus for settlement. The wall of Jericho dates from around 8000 BCE and was presumably built to protect the food supply. So next, so food production. So this is my main topic. So food production, as the name suggests, is all about preparing food in which raw materials are converted into ready-made food products for human use, either in the home or in the food processing industries. So, ang food production ay ito yung pag-produce natin ng mga product na galing sa raw materials at magagamit natin sa ating mga bahay. So, ito yung pag-produce, kunyari, sa mga delata. So, kunyari, yung isda is hilaw pa nung kinuha at i-convert ito sa pag i-convert ito, lulutuin sa pagkain at ilalagay sa delata upang maulam sa bahay. So ito yung pagko-convert natin ng mga pagkain natin para magamit natin sa pang-araw-araw. So it comprises scientific approaches. So food production has many sections and it starts with basic things like cleaning, packing, segregating, sorting, preparing, adding ingredients in correct proportion, presenting, and etc. So the process of food production can be segregated into a number of stages, and each of them is very important. So in the food processing industry, the process starts with primary step of cleaning, segregation, etc., and ends with the food packaged and marketed. So, how is food produced? So, paano nga ba napuproduce ang food? So, most of the products that we consume are sourced from plants and animals. So, ang karamihan ng mga nating nakakain karamihan ng mga products na ating kinakain ay galing sa halaman at sa mga hayop na nagbibigay sa atin ng source ng ating lakas. So, the products consist of grains, cereals, pulses, honey, milk, fruits and vegetable and eggs. So meat and honey and many more. So we humans are very dependent on the plants and animals for our existence. So they provide us with variety of foods products that are used in our day-to-day life consumption. So plants and animals as a whole are presentable for the supply of nearly 90% of the global energy. So global food production need to increase by 70% by 2050 in order to feed additional 2.3 billion people. So food production in developing countries needs to almost double. So production will not need to grow as fast as in previous decades. So because of the slowdown in population growth rates, but incomes are growing and volume requirements are still remarkable. So for instance, an additional 1 billion tons of cereals and 200 million tons of meat will need be produced annually by 2050. So mas madami na yung population ng tao by 2050. So next, so ito challenge for technology. Ito challenge ng technology sa food production. So the challenge for technology is to reverse this decline. So give that a continuous linear increase in yields at global level following the pattern established over the 5 decades would not be sufficient to meet food needs. So types of food production. So food production can be categorized into different types. So cultivating. So pag sinabi natin cultivating is ito yung paghahanda ng lupa sa pagtatamnan. So, ang harvesting naman is ito yung pag-aani ng ating mga gulay o mga available na maani sa bahay. So, crop management, preserving, fermenting, crop production, pickling, cooking and restaurants. So, production of drinks, broiling, grilling, baking, stewing, and braising. So, methods in food production. So, there are several forms of food production that are used today. However, while some of them can be practiced by the cooks at home, others need special industrial equipment, food production, and food processing. Though interrelated are two different terms, but they often overlap each other, and process can be used for both processing and producing. So, food processing particularly refers to the process used for changing the raw materials into finished edible products. So, ito nga sinasabi ko kanina. So, ang food production ay ito yung nanggagaling muna sa raw materials at ito ay nagiging finished edible product. So, food production also incorporates in itself the steps that are involved preparing a meal from the grocery products. Some methods of food production are mentioned below. So, slicing. So, ito yung some methods ng food production. So, slicing o paghihiwa, slicing, cutting and chopping, marinating, magmamarinate, boiling, broiling, fermenting, curing, emulsifying, frying, pagpiprito, grilling, pag-iihaw, pag-i-steam, so mixing, paghahalo, and grinding. So, ito yung importance of food production. Importance. All living beings survive because of food is produced. So, not just that. So, hindi lang yan. So, food production increases employment. It's a source of income for course of people. Monetary value is added to the crops. So, it helps maintain foreign relations as number of countries are majority dependent on agriculture. So, sabi nga dito, di ba? Importance of food production. Kung ano yung ka-importansyan niya. So, sabi dito, food productions increase employment. So, nakakatulong din siya para mapadami, magkaroon ng mga trabaho yung tao. So, it's a source of income din na nagkakaroon sila ng pera. So, it helps maintaining foreign relations. So, ito yung tinatawag natin na barter na pagpapalitan ng mga product. So, dahil doon nagkakaroon ng relationship ang bawat bansa sa isa't isa. Nagpapalitan sila kanya-kanyang produkto. So, technology used in food production. So, ito na mga technology na ginagamit sa food production. So, when it comes to food, technology isn't always the first thing that comes to mind. So, however, technology over the years has changed how we produce and find food through application, robotics, data processing, and techniques. So, according to recent report from ING, so technology helps food manufacturers produce more efficiently for growing world population. There are 7.5 billion people in the world right now, and that means a higher demand for food each year. So, by using technology to improve processing and packaging, it can be improved shelf life and safety of the food. So, robotics and machines. So, ito nga. So, the use of machines in food industry also ensures quality and affordability. By using machines, it drives down the cost of keeping the food first in increased productivity. So according to report, the rise of robotics in the food industry is an intangible example of food tech. The number of robots in the European food industry is well over 30,000, while the number of robots per 10,000 employees rose from 62 in 2013 to 84 in 2017. So although Germany is the largest market, robot density is, is relatively highest in Sweden, Denmark, the Netherlands, and Italy. So, so robotic machines can help to eliminate safety issues for more dangerous jobs in food industry. So in 2016, a tech company rolled out a program for butchery by using robots to cut the more difficult of the meats. They can save many work injuries. So this is just one of many ways technology can improve industry. So 3D printing. So in the past few years, 3D printing has really taken off across many industries, and the food industry is one of them. So there have been several applications of 3D printing, from NASA printing a pizza to creating soft food for those who cannot chew a hard food to consume. So it opens the door for innovation, being able to create many things that we were unable to before, while also being able to help with food sustainability. So there are many ways 3D printing is shaking up the industry. So drones. So precision agriculture is the major player when it comes to how technology can make difference. So it is the use of GPS tracking system and satellite imagery to monitor crop yields, soil levels, and weather patterns to increase efficiency on the farm. So not only can they see that is happening across the yield, but they can also use analysis from the findings to test the soil and help of the crops. So a major way they are doing this is through the use of drones. So these drones can locate and identify disease or damaged crop and tend to the use of the use of these robots does not eliminate the need for food workers, but helps more efficient with their work. Strict products requirement volumes and demand for lower pricing. The robot elements help create a faster environment to produce more goods and labor. So packaging and waste. So one of the biggest concern of consumer right now is having healthy and sustainable goods. So consumers pay attention to labels and harmful ingredients, especially with social media. There is not much, and companies can get away anymore. Many companies use technology to help them go green by using robotics. Digitizing companies in food industry are able to find alternative to plastic and other harmful package to environment. So modern technologies such as chemical fertilizer, pesticides, herbicides, modern agriculture machinery, artificial selection have been used to increase food production. So development and use of chemical fertilizers on farm land boosts level of nutrients in the soil, increasing from crop yields. So nakakatulong talaga ang technology lalong-lalo na sa tao. So dito mas napapadali yung mga trabaho hanggang sa pag-produce, hanggang sa pagtatanim, at hanggang sa ito ay gawing product. So mas um, mas napapadali yung trabaho at mas may iwasan yung injury na dapat ginagawa ng tao. So, madami nang nagagawang technology sa atin ngayon. Madami nang nagagawang technology ngayon kasi ito ay nagbibigay sa atin ng mas napapadali at mas napaparami yung pagproduce kasi yung tao lang ang gagawa ng paraan upang tao lang gagawa kung ano yung magiging trabaho ng robot is napakahirap kasi hindi kakayanin ng tao at madali lang mapagod. So ang robot kasi is tuloy-tuloy lang ang kanyang paggawa. So mas madami siyang magagawang product kaysa sa tao. So example of technology used in food production. So ito yung mga technology na ginagamit sa food production. So importance of technology in food. So technology helps food manufacturers to produce more efficiently for growing world population. So improving shelf life, food safety, resolved around technology and greater use machines and software ensures affordability on consistent quality. The importance of technology for manufacturers continues to grow. So it has made progress in meeting the growing demand of food around the world. Advancement in this field will lead to reduced disease, improved quality of food, safety consumption, variety of food items, affordable cost of food items, better preservation techniques, and lesser wastage. So food production system. So the food production system is the entire process through which raw materials are converted into edible or processed food items that sellable. This system in all processes and infrastructure that are needed to feed people. So each production system can be sub into 3 stages. So ito yung 3 stages. So input, process, and output. So input is different raw materials that is initially needed to process the food. So ang process naman is different process through which the raw ingredients are converted into edible food dishes. So output is yung final product. So how does the food production affects environment? So food production affects the environment in various ways. So increase in food production is among the largest impacts of the environment. So food production plays a major role in climate change. So nakaka-apekto din siya sa climate change. So food production is responsible for more than 26% of greenhouse gas emissions. So 78% of water waste and pollution of water bodies are caused due to agriculture and farming. So various national land and ecosystem are affected since the land is used for agriculture. So food production is responsible for extinction of number of species. So use of chemicals in agriculture causes various adverse environment effect like acid rain and air population, etc. So therefore, food production, although is necessity, plays a major role in environment destruction as well. So scientists are developing ways of sustainable food production which will help in curbing the harmful effects of food production on the environment. So affecting technology in food production. So new technology and innovation, be it the tractor or the freezer, and have transformed the ways we grow, process, and consume food time and time again. So emerging technologies have great potential to improve our food system for better, but they can also have unintended consequences. So in a study recently published in Lancet Planetary Health, an international team of scientists identified the potential impacts and interactions of emerging food system technologies in relation to the sustainable development goals. So, yun lang ang aking report. So, thank you and God bless.